Welcome back to Astrology, Angels, and More. I'm your host, Mary Silvernail, and we have a very beautiful show for you this evening and a special guest. And I have a lot of information to give you first astrologically, and then we'll be speaking with our guest about positivity, bringing it into your life, energy healing through positivity. And we all need some of that right now, right? Now, you can view our show on Fios and on Spectrum, and all the shows, all the episodes that we've done, you can also view on YouTube under the show's name. So now, today is Flag Day. Happy Flag Day. It's June 14th, 2023. And I would love to wish all the Geminis out there a very happy birthday. So now, first of all, I'm doing something a little bit different this month. Each sign, I'm just going to give you a little snippet about what's going on for the next month for you individually. So now, Aries, open your heart to a relative you have not communicated with lately. You'll be very pleasantly surprised. Taurus, money issues come to a head mid-month. Now is the time to be frugal, yet open to some great money-making opportunities. So just go for the gusto, Taurus. You have a lot of really favorable planets for you right now. Happy birthday, Gemini. As I said, beautiful Gemini. It's your month to shine. This is the beginning of a new, exciting chapter in your life. Speak your truth, and it will be heard. Cancer, legal issues have positive results for you. You must let go of the past in order to see the bright future in store for you at this time. Beautiful Leo, loving Leo. If single, you find yourself with so many lovers, but so little time. If you're partnered already, passion is in your stars. The stars are finally shining on your love life. Bask in it. Virgo, your creativity moves you in a new direction regarding your career. Open your home to entertaining and networking. That will help also with your career. Libra, you may decide to take some classes that interest you. This is a time to be open to new relationships that can bring you joy. Open your heart and open your mind at the same time. Allow that love to flow towards you. Scorpio, the summer heat is on. It's turned on. And so is your passion. A romantic weekend jaunt is just the ticket for some boom. Yeah. Wow. Good horoscope there, Scorpio. Sagittarius, a new address is what you yearn for. Don't worry. By summer's end, this will come to pass. If it is what you truly want, learn to enjoy the now. Very important to live in the present, Sagittarius. Capricorn, hard-working Capricorn. The promotion you want is yours for the asking. Be confident of your worth, and your hard work will be rewarded. Never give up. Capricorns never do give up. Aquarius, a new love enters your life at this time. There's a strong possibility that this is the one. Be open for opportunities. They abound. Wonderful, gentle, loving, sensitive Pisces. Do some summer sprucing up of your home for the company that will be knocking at your door. New beginnings do not have to mean new endings also. Now, When I had said the sun sign, such as Scorpio or Leo, I'm also referring to the rising sign. So if you know your rising sign, and what that is where the sun was on the ascendant when you were born at that time of day, that is your rising sign. If in fact you do know your rising sign, you should always first read your rising sign and then read your sun sign, put them both together, and it's going to make a whole lot more sense for you. Now, again, happy birthday, Gemini. There are so many wonderful Geminis in my life. Geminis are a lot of fun. Gemini is the third sign of the zodiac with Mercury as its ruling planet. Beautiful yellow, bright, happy yellow is associated with Gemini. Geminis are curious, playful, bouncy, and clever. Many are writers, speakers, or work in the communications field. That's all to the ruling planet of Mercury, which is communication. They're quick-witted and make excellent salespeople. Their gems are aquamarine and citrine. So your power color, Gemini, is yellow, and your power stones are aquamarine and citrine. Now, on June 17th, which is just in a couple of days, so we're already experiencing a lot of this energy, because any new moon or full moon the energies start 3 days before and last till 3 days after the actual date of the new moon or the full moon. So June 17th is the Gemini new moon. So anything, Gemini, that you have been working on for the past year, it's all coming to a head and you're starting anew. You're starting something brand new. Gemini is the sign of communication, as I had said before. However, what is needed at this time is to listen and take everything in more so than speaking, and things will become crystal clear. You know, that's hard for Geminis because they like to talk, they like to kibitz, but keep your ears open, Gemini. You're going to learn a lot because truths will be revealed around the time of this Gemini new moon. If a project is not going the way you had anticipated, now is the time to refocus and take the first steps to get back on track. June 21st, oh boy, at 7:57 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the longest day and shortest night of the year is the Cancer solstice, which marks another shift in the universal energies that bring about more intensity for change. A solstice is an energetic gateway, a portal, due to the reduction in the magnetic field of the Earth, which allows a great flux of cosmic radiation to penetrate our atmosphere and our psyche. The energy that comes from the planets affect us just like the moon affects the tide. With this solstice, though, there is an exact trine, and a trine in astrology. A trine is excellent. It's very, very lucky. And it's with Pluto. However, Pluto is retrograde again in Capricorn, presenting a powerful potential for renewal. Now, I have a note here. Astrologically, this solstice falls in the house of partnership with other countries in the chart of the United States of America. Now, Brian, can you put up that chart of the United States for me, if you don't mind? Okay, it's hard to see, I know, but if you go up to your television set or if you're viewing this on an iPad or whatever, if you take a screenshot and then make it bigger, you'll see that what's happening actually, that is the chart of the United States, and it's on the date of and the exact time of the solstice, June 21st, 2023, 10:57 a.m. Daylight Savings Time, Eastern Daylight Savings Time. And what's happening is, you'll see if you look at the lower left-hand side of the astrological chart, which looks like that big pie cut in 12 pieces, right? You're going to see a little squiggly line outside what says number 2, which is the second house, which is the second piece of the pie. That's the house of money in the chart of the United States. And what's happening is, I was so happy when Capricorn moved into Aquarius, but unfortunately, it has gone back into Capricorn, and it's making another slice by the Pluto, the natal Pluto of the United States. So we're dealing with some tremendous financial issues, as you know, but not all is lost here, because this will be straightened out. Now, the thing is, but the day of the solstice, the sun is in the 7th house, which is all the way over on the right-hand side of the screen of the circle, and it's in the house that says number 7. The sun is in there, and the moon is actually in the 8th house of outside sources of income. So the government money. So look, this will be straightened out. They already had finally come to an agreement recently as far as the debt ceiling went. But things will work out here. You know, I see some very nice things in the astrological chart of the United States, actually. I'm not going to go into it too deeply because we have our guest here. But one of the things is that the part of fortune is going through the 10th house, and it's hitting Saturn, which is a good thing. Saturn is a restrictor, but finally the part of fortune has come and made a conjunction there, which is extremely, extremely important. Okay, Brian, if you could take that down, I would really appreciate it, and I'll continue. Okay, so anyway, the thing is, too, though, but also a beautiful part of this solstice is that a very affectionate moon and Venus will make a conjunction. You know, moon is the emotions, and Venus is the planet of love and beauty and peace. And they're making a beautiful conjunction in the sign of Leo, which lightens the mood and opens our hearts to our friends and our loved ones. It brings more of a loving feeling coming in. Now, one last thing that I would like to talk about, only because our next show will be after this Capricorn full moon that's happening on July the 3rd. We can suddenly make a lot of progress in a number of situations by being practical and leading the way. The moon is conjunct the sun and in opposition to Mercury in Cancer. Emotions that have been brewing may rise to the surface and release, creating a surprise. See, there's a lot of surprises coming up in this month of June and into the early part of July. A lot of surprises worldwide, okay? Some of them very good, actually. But this is a time, though, as we know what we're dealing with, of divided positions, making it temporarily impossible to reach a middle ground. So it isn't just worldwide, it's also could be affecting our relationships. But understand something. Even though everything is so intensified, just be patient. This is only temporary. The asteroid Juno which relates to commitment and loyalty, is in Cancer, urging us more to pick a side. There's a lot to do with loyalty here, okay? In your relationships, perhaps you'll notice this. A lot of my clients have come back to me recently in the readings that I've done, and they're talking about that they feel betrayal. Betrayal has been coming up a lot lately, and it's because of the energies that are happening right now. But the thing is, this is really the time to stay as grounded as we can. And I'm looking forward to when I introduce our guest that's sitting right next to me here, that she's going to offer a lot of very good advice, how to stay positive, how to stay grounded in all of this. But the good news is that the moon trines lucky Jupiter in Taurus, which can bring about good fortune, so finances will become easier. All right. So with all that said, now I would like to introduce our guest tonight, Joanie Eisinger. Hi, Joanie.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. This is your first time on our show, right?
Yes. Thank you so much for asking me to come on.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, my name's Joanie Eisinger, and I'm originally from Long Island, New York, and it must be something in the water on Long Island where the mediums are coming out. And I was a trained social worker for many years. I was an LCSW, a licensed clinical social worker in New York City, and I worked with addicts and alcoholics as well as the mentally ill.
Oh.
I was conventionally trained, and I didn't believe in any of what you just shared. I didn't believe in any of what gifts came in. I thought that it was bunk. I had a lot of medical problems, so I was also dealing with doctors. So between the childhood medical stuff, eking into adulthood, along with my conventional training, working alongside psychiatrists, this was verboten. So around 2003, 4, 5, gifts started coming in. I had a dark night of the soul. I had what's called multiple chemical sensitivities, or MCS.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I need to interject here so that
Yes.
you can explain about the dark night of the soul.
Sure.
I understand it, what
Sure.
it is. A lot of our audience perhaps
Sure.
doesn't, and it could really help them to understand
No, thank
that.
you. I don't want to talk over if I don't want anyone to be lost here.
No.
I believe that a dark night of the soul is when a person goes to the depths of an experience. They're in like an existential angst, and it's like a sink or swim, live or die. What will I do with this? And many times, people who go into a dark night of the soul have the opportunity to have a spiritual awakening.
Absolutely. I have always seen that after the dark night of the soul, that's what would happen. And what we're talking about is maybe an extremely serious, maybe life-threatening illness, or something happening in your life that creates tremendous grief, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
So you were going through
I was
that,
going
huh?
there. I
Wow.
was so sensitive that I couldn't open up windows or doors. I was unable to take medicine. I could only eat 2 foods, and I was on my way out. So I was on an international message board of folks who had MCS, and there was a wonderful woman who directed me to a holistic practitioner, who then moved me on to an energy practitioner. And this man started healing me, and he was doing something very unconventional, and it was not in the medical realm. And he brought up some spiritual gurus and asked whether I had heard of them. I was also religious, so we weren't going there either. So between all the conventional training and the religiosity, but there was this aha moment, and I decided to start reading some very high vibrational books. As I was being healed, as I was reading only material of the light, not any low vibrational material, the gifts started coming in. I would call myself fast-tracked. So fast-tracked in the spiritual community is where the gifts just start coming in.
Oh, yeah.
I did not have training.
You're like being flooded.
Flooded.
Right.
So people would say that they lost departed ones and pets, and I moved my Joanie aside I knew how, and I was doing light and deep trance channeling, and there was accuracy to it. And I was jumping into other lifetimes, and I was seeing into bodies, and I was jumping into past lives, and my hands were buzzing. I was doing this both in person, and I started doing remote healing as well.
The buzzing. Explain that.
So I believe that we have energy centers in the palms of our hands. And I believe there's a chakric system, and that the love, the vibration, the highest of comes in through our crown chakra, works its way down and out our palms.
There's meridians in our palms that actually, the
Yes.
energy comes out.
Comes out.
So when a person is a Reiki master or even a Native American healer, their hands, when they touch you, what's happening is the energy, so whether it be Reiki, whether it be reconnective healing, whatever, okay, white light, but that's where it comes out. Yes,
That's where
absolutely.
it comes out. And I went through a big shakeup because religiously that would be called being a soothsayer. And so there's a lot of no, do not. And it went against all of my training. But it felt blessed, and it felt like a gift. And my life changed 180 degrees. And then around 2010, I started doing this professionally. And I brought in the departed animals as well. So I'm an animal communicator. And I always say, as I'm sure you do on this show and with your website, I have to say it's for entertainment purposes only.
When someone comes to my office and I'm doing a reading, when they want it recorded, I always have to say it's for entertainment purposes only,
Right.
legally.
Right.
Okay, but anyway, so go
Anyway.
ahead. Yeah.
So I take...
we have seen,
Yes.
so, okay.
I take my social work training, and I combine that without the licensed social worker piece. I do not act as a social worker anymore. So my training working with folks with all different issues, along with the ability to go in and answer folks' questions, do mediumship, and then the healing, which we'll be talking about.
Yeah.
And I've done some paranormal investigation. I'm authored. With all of this put together, I'm on a different path, and I learned that it's pre-birth planned.
Oh, yes. And I'm an esoteric astrologer. Esoteric meaning soul.
Yes.
So when I'm doing an astrological reading, I'm actually looking at the person's soul. So, everything is pre-planned before we come here,
I believe that some isn't. I believe that many times the key issues are, I go into folks' pre-birth planning sessions.
That's our free will.
Right, exactly, exactly. So if there's curiosity, being of service, if there's karma, playing by opposites, receiving back what you dealt out, or doing it again, whatever you dealt or received, having a do-over due to karma, whatever the case. Sometimes you pre-birth plan it, and other times it's post-incarnation free will choice, meaning
Choice, right.
if you don't pre-birth plan it in your pre-birth planning session along with your soul group, then you make choices, and it's like a flow chart. Will I do this? And if you keep going in that direction, you might end up with another challenge to have life lesson opportunities.
Absolutely, because that is free will. That's what it's all about.
Right.
So really what we bring in, our karma that we bring in from our last lifetime that has a bunch of other stuff from all the other lifetimes, then when we come in, it's like an outline. And then we decide which way to go. Just like, it's always free choice. It's
That's right.
always
It's the beauty.
free will.
Beauty.
Right now, we're filming this show, and you have the free will, or I have the free will, if we wanted to just get up and do a dance, right?
Exactly.
But we wouldn't do that,
Right.
right? But no, it's the choices in life.
Yes.
It's always the choices.
Yes.
And that's why sometimes I just want to say this, because I have so many people that come to me, I'm sure you do too, that they regret the choices that they had made in life. And then they go back. But the whole thing is, if you really look at why you made that choice, it was everything that was going on then. You had all the information there for you to make the choice of what was best for you at that moment, and you made the best choice that you could. So, no regret. No regret.
I say that you mimic what I share with my clients. The same exact. If you bring yourself back to where you were, you would have made the same decisions. So regret, shame, guilt, blame, embarrassment, remorse.
Yeah.
Really, it doesn't compute.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, it really is the truth. Sometimes though people can have an influence on us, especially when we're young, maybe our parents.
Yes.
Okay. There was actually I can tell you, I'll share this. There was a moment in my life, a moment in time where I could have gone this way or that way. I was ready to go to the right, and my mother was standing next to me and yanked me back, so I went to the left. Now, that's something, though, that I always think about. But when she let go of me, I could have gone to the right. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So even if you're influenced by someone else, whether it be a priest, rabbi, I mean, you were talking about the religious part of things before.
That's right.
Right? But then ultimately you made your free choice.
That's right. And I didn't have to go that way. Speaking of the parent, your mom pulling you. So I've sung at some folks' weddings. I've sung a bit. I've done some scratch demos. Back in the earlier days, my mom said something very key to me, and she said, it would be a very difficult life if you were a singer on the road because it's very smoky and you'd be a single woman in bars alone. And something clicked. I don't know what it was, but it was very powerful because I was having singing lessons, a little bit of acting, this and that, and I had said I wanted to be a singer. And I took the other trajectory. And since then, the singing, yes, open mic and some bands backing me up, little bits like that. But I went on another path, and I'm not sure whether her wording was to be. I don't know, I never went in regarding whether that was also pre-birth plan for her to make that comment for me then to make the decision.
How old were you when you made that decision? Do you remember?
I will guess around 16.
I was 19 when my mother pulled me back.
Yeah.
I was 19 years old. And the whole thing is, though, let's face it, we're where we are right now, and this is exactly where we need to be.
Right.
And all we really need to think about is the now.
Yeah.
Especially with this moon that I was talking about, both moons, but especially that full moon that's going to be coming up in the beginning of July. That energy is all about being in the now moment.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Regarding healing, because I know that we're talking about
Yes.
healing, a lot of people come and they say, well, do you heal me? Can you heal me? And I believe that there's a recipe regarding a healing being effective. And the first thing I always say is, well, I never know what's going to happen. I never know if you will have one of those spontaneous healings. I believe that a person needs to believe in alternative healing. They need to believe that there's something outside of what they might have been trained or told was the only way. And they have to have some type of faith in the healer themselves. Those, I think, are the first two.
Yeah, because if somebody comes to you and says, oh, this isn't going to work, guess what? It's not
gonna
going to work.
It's not going to work.
Okay.
So that saves a lot of people time, money, and trouble. And then after that, it has to do with how done the person is. Are they really ready? Are they ready to move to the next step?
Yeah.
Do they want to? And a lot of times people say they want to, but they're holding on.
Yep.
Sometimes people are ready, but there are other lifetimes where they have unforgiveness and it still serves them to be in that place. So healing is, I don't want to say it's complicated, but there is a recipe to it, and that a person comes in with that wonderment, the excitement, and the belief that anything is possible. And if they're ready to open up doors and move into a new place, it's possible.
Open up their heart, open up their mind, and realizing it's multifaceted.
Absolutely.
And that you are not in control of it. You're guiding them. I don't know if you feel that way, but because, I think you know that I do a lot of different forms of energy healing too, and Native American healing. And, the person has to also participate. It isn't like, I can just wave my magic wand and there you are, right?
Right.
Right.
So I tell
so
the
they
person,
have to participate.
I'm 1 millisecond behind them. I'm not leading because that would be blocking their free will, and that's dark. So if I'm getting a sense that the person is not allowing me to even speak, share, expand on, their higher self and their guides have their hands up and are saying, and then that's when I get a feeling that there's skepticism, that there's that I don't really believe in this or I'm not ready for it, and that's fine. There's no judgment. It's also in terms of participation, when the person asks questions, when the person just is open to the experience, the chances are higher that there's going to be a shift.
Because you are just the facilitator.
Yes.
Aren't they really doing that?
And speaking of, that's also very important. I always say, don't go to the one that says that they're a guru. We are bridges. We are catalysts. We might have some thinned veils. We might have moved in that along in that spiritual development where we have chosen to do this in this lifetime, and we're here to help people open up their gifts, thin their veil, so ultimately they don't need us.
Absolutely.
Because they're hardwired the same way as we are.
Absolutely. And you know what I have found also that's very important? Gratitude. That when the person begins to feel the healing happening, that there is gratitude, that they have gratitude, and that they continue to have gratitude every single day.
Yes, that and acceptance, which has to do with what you shared about the moon and being in the now.
Yes.
So one of the keys for being in the now is accepting exactly what's going on now.
Now.
You're not fighting it, then you're not in the now.
Exactly. And then where are you going? You're fighting yourself. Right?
Right.
See, we are of the same mindset.
That's very
Absolutely.
same. Very
Absolutely. So tell us a little more now, because you said, how long did it take you to come out of the darkness? How long did that take you?
Okay, so the chemical sensitivities went on for a few years acutely. I found it ironic. I needed to wear a mask in order to go into public buildings and residences, and no one else was wearing a mask, and I was the only one. And I found that almost eerie now, as almost like a foreshadowing. I would have to wear a mask.
And when was that?
That was 2002.
Oh, that was before the pandemic.
Right.
What, did you have a low immunity?
No, I was allergic to everything. Everything. So it started out in childhood as strawberries and cats and perfume, and then it became wonky. The new finish on clothing, the automotive aisle in the store, gasoline, newsprint.
So hard.
And then it became everything, and that's where I couldn't take any medicine, and it was over. I was watching the people on the message forum, the international message board, die. They were all moving out to trailers with tinfoil, or they'd die in the woods. And it was just a very tragic thing. And I'm a survivor, I believe. And I was not going anywhere. I wanted to be here.
Very good. Very good. I'm glad you made that choice from
Thank
your
you.
own free will. And you had the assistance of healers.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
There you
Yes.
go.
So I have a lot of
that's
gratitude.
the key.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of gratitude.
Lot of
I
gratitude.
could tell just looking at the energy that came onto your face when you were saying that, even though it's been a very long time, you still, the brightness that came upon your face and the smile.
There were no victims. We all knew before coming in what the landscape was. And that we travel with our soul group members. We sit around in pre-birth planning sessions. It's very loving and holy. It could even be a party. It's however the soul rolls. And then we know our soul group members' issues with no judgment. We play parts. We come in. And it's for soul growth opportunity. And that's what I remind people, is that you knew coming in, and there's no pity party. Miracles happen all the time. Expect them. It's not piggy to ask for help. Lightworker 911, or hey, I'm over here. Hey, angels, you know my address. It's okay. It's okay.
Well, you know, we call upon the angels all the time here, okay, on this show.
Yeah.
And, you know, I brought Raphael with me tonight, Archangel Raphael, who is the healer.
The healer.
Archangel Raphael, the healer. As far as healing, all the angels help you in different ways, but on a physical level and an emotional level. Archangel Raphael is your angel to call upon. And what you do is you just imagine this beautiful emerald green light coming down and surrounding you, the most beautiful emerald green that you've ever seen, and feel that surround you and heal you. That light is actually Archangel Raphael. So, you love the angels too?
Love the angels.
Yes.
Love them.
Yes, me too, me too, me too. You know, so the angels help. And also, you know, what you were talking about before about the, you know, when we come into this lifetime, how prior to us being born, how we were all sitting around with our soul group and
Yes.
all that, and figuring out, yeah, well, the ones that love us the most of our soul group, believe it or not, and this is hard for many people to understand or accept, are the ones that can give us the hardest karma to live through, because they love us so much that they're willing to play that role in this lifetime so we can complete and balance that karma and eventually ascend.
Absolutely. And when we accept that point, it's easier to get out of the victim stance. It's easier to forgive self and other. And then the blame goes away. And I
Yes.
always suggest that you just ask yourself, what can I learn from this? That's the whole point. So it's
Isn't it?
not, did I get out of their house?
Yes,
Did
that's
I move
true.
away? Did I this? Did I that? It's what did you learn? How did I grow? What did you conclude?
Because there was a reason for it.
Right.
Okay? Or it never would have happened.
Correct.
Although, you know, I mean, there's trauma that happens. So we're lightly talking about this here, and it is very serious. However, people, and you know, I mean, as a social worker, I'm sure you dealt with this, the trauma. That's very difficult for some people who have lived through hideous trauma to grasp. So what do you say
I
about
would say that when I go in, when I channel, I ask the question, let's find out why. So there are many reasons why. So a person could be being of service by being in trauma for others' sake.
Absolutely,
They could
a
be
lot of people.
curious and want to know what it's like to be in an incarnation traumatized.
Yep.
They could be
So
traumatized because
So
they
true.
traumatized other. They could be traumatized because they were traumatized before and they have karma around it and they need to do the forgiveness work of self and other. So there are quite a number of reasons. And the being of service by experiencing something for others' sake is a concept that is very mind-boggling for a lot of people. It's to transcend and get out of that third dimensional concept of, oh, it's a concrete world of stuff happens, to roles people are playing for others' sake and for their sake.
Exactly, to be able to pay it forward and help masses of people
Masses.
through what had happened to you. And you hear about that a lot.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I guess in a way then I've been an astrologer my entire life. I come from a family, of astrologers, numerologists, etc. However, when my father made his transition many, many years ago, and it was all due to smoking, he was diagnosed with lung cancer, and 3 weeks later he passed away in my arms, literally. I was the only one with him. So what I do now, I had always been an astrologer, but I also worked in the corporate world up until about 25 years ago. And then I became a hypnotherapist because I wanted to help people stop smoking. So it wouldn't hurt them, like kill them, like what happened to my father. So I went from, making, I was in the accounting world.
Yeah.
So I made some really, really, really good money. But I was called to help others.
Yes.
And you hear about this kind of thing all the time when someone is a victim of someone in their family perhaps being murdered or killed or something like that, or of illness in their family. And then, they create these organizations and they call others in and they help masses of people.
Yes.
Okay? So it's sad that they have to go through that trauma. However, look at all the good then that they're doing.
Right. That's the being of service. It's a concept it's mind expanding. But your dad was of service to an extent. He served as a catalyst for you to become a hypnotherapist, and then you touched others as a result. So bless him. God bless him.
I've helped must be at least 10,000 people by now stop smoking and stop smoking seriously, permanently. A very high success rate.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. And I you know what I feel it is, though? I got to tell you, I also feel, because I work with the angels, I feel the angels are assisting the client there. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm sure that you call upon the angels when you're doing it. Do you?
So I not only call upon the angels, I call upon the elementals and the galactics, the departed ones, the guides. I call upon consciousnesses as well. So I believe that there are souls that are like-minded, that gets kind of cosmic, folks. They could be like a giant pink puffball. I know I might have lost some people with that, but there are consciousnesses. I'll see them as maybe a triangle, or I'll see them as some amorphous, scintillating, colorful, fluffy, whatever. I can't maybe put it into words what that is, but that consciousness serves as a like-minded source of information.
Well, we all have, and it's amazing when people start to understand this and realize it. We all have our own medical team, and we're talking about in the spirit world, and they can help to heal you. So not just the angels, I agree with you about that, but we all have our own medical team.
That's right.
That actually what you can do very simply is just lay down on your bed or sit in your chair comfortably and go into a little bit of a meditation or a little bit of a trance and just relax, and then just allow them to come. Just ask them to come and to help to heal you. What is it going to hurt? It's not going to hurt anything. You might be very beautifully surprised.
To add to what you just shared, I don't know if you do this or if you suggest this.
What?
I have people put sacred space around themselves, then white light protection around themselves, which is the highest frequency, I believe, in creation, which is love. It's not an insurance policy that nothing bad will happen, but it sure doesn't hurt to put the highest frequency of love around you when you're bringing in only the highest. So when you're calling in the angels and such, your guides, whoever you want that serves, maybe it's a departed one that you would love to assist, call upon the highest version of them, call upon the enlightened ones, or the highest of Christ's light, the ones that have reached that level of wisdom, of spiritual enlightenment, so you don't bring in lower vibrations.
Well, I don't want people to be concerned about calling on Archangel Michael to come in and help them in a situation instantly. So the white light, absolutely, I agree with you, because actually what I teach people is to surround themselves with the white light, just like what you're talking about, as their shield of protection.
Right.
However, I do have to, that I disagree with, because when you're calling upon an angel, okay, that's who you're getting, unless you're looking for some kind of a negative, lower vibration. Can I tell you, I mean, the readings that I do, and we're both mediums, and so you know that you're in contact with the other side all the time. People ask me, well, how do you know they aren't bad, or how? Because I don't allow that in. You just set your mind that that's it. And as long as you do that, and all you want is for your highest good and the highest good of everyone else, you can just call upon Archangel Michael for him to be there to empower you. Because what if a person is in a dark alley maybe, and all of a sudden somebody comes up? They're not going to think about, you know what I mean, surrounding them. You know what I'm saying? I know what you mean.
I'll clarify, and I think I'll clarify because I appreciate that.
Say,
a lot of people will just open up their channel, they'll open up their aura, and they'll go help. That. And then, without protection, without knowing that there are varying degrees of vibrational souls, they could be bringing in anything and anyone.
Well,
and
if
then
you call upon if you say the angel's name, they come.
Right, well, that's a name. But if you say help, if you do like a general, then I always tell people, call upon the highest of Christ's light, or call upon the enlightened ones, and then just the highest of, and just keep it simple.
Because those words that you're saying there, that you're telling them to say, or like when I say, Archangel Michael, help me.
Right,
now,
that is a
vibration from the words that you're actually saying to create only that energy coming to you. And once those higher white light energies come to you, there's no room for any of that darkness.
Correct.
So we're on the same page.
Yes.
We're
now,
on the same page.
Sometimes people say, do I ever get my channel taken? And every now and then I will know. They can come in through a pinhole, and I'll know that they're messing around, and that's when they've broken through the shield. So I started on a battle.
I'm just telling you, they don't come. People have asked me this. Yes, absolutely.
It's not often, but every now and then.
Absolutely. And I used to do home clearings years ago. I don't do them anymore. I mean, at one point, even my son at one point had helped me with it. And we used to do the home clearings, but I choose not to participate with any of those. And actually, you and I were talking about that earlier, about how you can just choose. If you feel that there's negative energy somewhere, you just choose not to be around it.
Right. So I had recently done a paranormal investigation, and they were messing. They tried, and I said to the group, because I was role modeling, don't allow this, and because I got some word, said, they're messing with. And one of them got all excited, because they didn't know, you don't engage. Said, really, already? And I just, And then it happened again. And because there was a lot, because that's what goes on in a lot of times in that type of world.
Absolutely.
And you ignore, and you move on, and you only work with the highest of.
Or you tell them to go to the light.
That's right.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, in that case, always.
Always, always,
Send them
always, always.
home.
That's all. I mean, if you have, if you're dealing with any kind of entities in your home, really all you have to do is guide them to the light.
Right.
Yeah, I just choose to keep my mindset
Yeah.
on the angels and in that white light, and that's it. And
Yeah.
nothing ever. It just doesn't happen.
That's
doesn't
very good.
pierce. Well, it's been a lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, but very good point about the white light energy, surrounding yourself with that, especially any time that you're asking for any kind of a healing or any kind of help from the other side. Surround yourself first with the white light. I agree with you about that. I do.
Yes.
I just don't want people to think, uh-oh, I better do all that. Well, I don't really know how to do
It's
that.
very
So I
simple.
can't ask Michael, or I can't ask Raphael to heal me. I don't want that to happen to
No.
people.
So that's where if you're calling on the name, that frequency, that name, that's the signature.
Yeah.
That's who you get.
Yes, it is.
And if you
Because
open it up
create
to a
it.
general, hey, let's see who's around, it's a whole nother ball game. It's very good to either get very specific with who you're working with, or the angels, just the angels, you're getting the angels. But if you just
Absolutely.
say, hey, come on board, who's around, I want to know who's around, you
Well,
start getting into something
your
quite dicey.
medical team, your healing team, they're all of light. Whether they
yes.
whether they're from the angelic realm, or they could even be from the elementals.
And the
you know,
galactics.
and the
The
galactics.
star
Abs-
brothers and sisters,
Well,
yes.
I mean, we all come from the star system, you know, and I know that you're of belief of that, aren't you? I get
I'm an
that feeling.
Arcturian and I speak Pleiadian and Syrian.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So that
so
was-
we're in total agreement on that too.
So-
Boy, I'm telling you, time is really going by pretty quick. What else would you like to add? You and I, the first time that I ever met you was about a month ago, and actually we ended up talking in the ladies' room for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, because I feel that we have a very similar
Yes.
kind of belief system.
Yes.
So, which is very refreshing and nice. I love it.
glad.
Okay, so how do you help people?
Well, that's a very good question.
Well, you said
People
a
come
lot.
to me and they ask questions,
Yes.
and I go down the timeline of what's the highest probability. I never say that it's going to happen. A person could make a decision the next day and it changes the entire outcome.
Right.
I don't have people say hang your hat on what I tell them. So I don't call myself a fortune teller. I share. When people come to me, a lot of times they have blocks. Why does this tend to happen? I don't understand why that. And I go, well, let me go in and see.
Okay.
And I believe that my forte, the gift that I have, I humbly say, is that I'm able to jump into a lifetime where the precipitating event occurred, where they tripped themselves up, where they were working on something that is a very similar theme to what they're working on in this lifetime, and that they blamed self and other. That adds meaning to what they're going through here now. They do the forgiveness work. They forgive self and other across time and space, forwards and backwards, across all generations.
And you guide them through this.
Yes.
Okay.
I also am able to see into bodies. I'm able to do aura clearing, repair, chakra repair, balancing, etc. And I can also go in and I can see how things have affected the person related to that lifetime. If it's related, then I jump back into the third dimensional life, this one that they're in now, and I see how their forgiveness work affects their moving forward from that moment in the now in the session onward. And then suggestions are oftentimes given, and I believe that a lot of the healing occurs when the forgiveness is done. When a person blames self and other, they're hooked in with that other person. When they say that they're forgiving self and other, they release, this negative energy, poof, I suggest they sip water between then and when they go to sleep. It helps flush negative energies through the physical body.
Good idea. That's the truth.
And that I do not have healing crises occur. That's if a person has a healing crisis, oftentimes they tend to be into drama. So I always put out the intention. It's time release. It's as the soul can manage. And then I do believe that the information that's shared and the validation, the support, the education, the inspiration, and oftentimes folks feel me working on them. When you combine all that along with the spiritual info that's given, which helps expand,
Yes.
you put that together, and I believe that is healing. Many, many, many times folks return to me and they say, this was valid. I felt the change. I feel lighter. This situation improved. I no longer have this experience, and doors have opened for me.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. And
That's
I humbly
beautiful.
say this, I just show up. That's my joke.
Yeah.
I just show up in this lifetime. I am a conduit, and I love what I do.
Exactly. That's what it is.
That's what we do.
That's what we all are. We're conduits. You know, I just wanted to thank you so much for coming tonight. I think that,
Thank
you know,
you.
the time went so fast, and I just wanted to say to our audience, if you'd like any further information in reference to anything that we discussed on the show, my email is at the end of the show, and you can just contact me and I can forward it on. Okay? So, thank you so much.
Thank
you for
you.
coming. And
Thank you.
yeah,
It was wonderful.
wasn't
We're
it?
very like-minded.
Yeah,
very
actually,
similar.
yeah, that's why the time went so
Very
fast when we
similar.
talk. But why don't we send a nice healing to our audience now, huh?
Yes.
How about that?
Okay.
Okay. Many, many, many bright blessings.
Bless you.
Enjoy these beautiful energies that are happening now in the heavens, and they're blessing you. Many, many bright blessings of love, of peace, joy, and positivity. God bless.
Bless y'all.